You know what? I got a retweet from Jesus Cuellar, an article that I put on the website, thefightjournal.com, and it posted to Twitter. And so I got a retweet from Jesus Cuellar, and then from Marcos Maidana at Chino Maidana. Give him a follow, and at Jesus Cuellar Box, BOX. So that was cool. And I wonder if he'll retweet this one. I'm not gonna really do a big breakdown on the Cuellar versus Mares and the Charlo versus Williams. Just some things I'll point out, and I probably won't pick a winner. Well, it's not the usual breakdown. I haven't really done any film study or anything, so I won't do it like I did the Vasily Lomachenko and some other fights in the past. However, I'll just, whatever my gut tells me right now on Wednesday evening, 10:48 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll just kind of roll with it. But so many people talk about how Abner Mares has a chance to outbox Jesus Cuellar, and they may be right. If they're like, well, all Mares has to do is move like he did against Anselmo Moreno or Victor Archinian or King Kong Egbeko and so on and so forth. That's all he has to do, because there's some things that Cuellar won't be able to deal with. The problem with that is Abner Mares did those things at the lighter weights. When he fought those guys, it was prime Mares and active Mares, and he fought those guys. What is it, 115? But he's not at that weight class anymore, and it shows. Cuellar is huge, and he has power. He's also a southpaw, and the way Abner Mares fights means that he's going to get hit. He's going to do his fair share of hitting. He's going to get hit. And with Abner Mares, he's been off for, should be a year, maybe over a year. And part of the reason is his eye. His eye is not in good shape. I'm actually concerned for Abner Mares' well-being. My fear is that Abner Mares is going to wind up being blind, or even worse, losing his eye one day. It doesn't matter what happens in this fight, win, lose, or draw. The damage to his eye, or further damage to his eye, win, lose, or draw, is going to begin on Saturday night, December 10th. With this fight, I don't care if Mares scores a 7th round knockout. I think his eye is damaged goods, and I wish him nothing but the best. I just hope he doesn't wind up in Israel Vasquez territory, maybe even Antonio Margarito territory, whatever that is. We don't know. And these guys are going to go on and continue to fight as long as they can pass a test. If that means going to, even if it means him taking some fights and he has some Mexican blood in him. I just don't like, I think he's going to take some hits to the eye. This is a big guy, a big puncher. When I say big guy, when there's a weight differential, there's a size differential. When you see, just take a look at the weigh-in. Whenever the weigh-in to take place Friday, and then when they square up to each other, just you should see a significant size difference. And if you don't, once the rehydration process takes place that Saturday in that main event, you're going to see a much bigger guy in the ring. Sure, he may outbox Cuellar. He may do what everyone else is saying. I'm concerned with Abner Mares' well-being. Solid fighter, very good fighter. He's on a decline, and I wish him the best. That's the main event. The co-feature, which is a fight that, as time draws closer, more people are talking about. I don't know if they're just talking about it because it should be a main event fight, maybe on a regular Showtime card, or if they're just in denial and don't want to talk about Mares' his eye. However, you have IBF World Light Middleweight Champion, Junior Middleweight, if you want to call it that, Super Welterweight, if you want to call it that, depending on what sanctioning body you like, or just however the terminology is. We got Jermall Charlo, 24-0, 18 big wins by KO, versus Julian Williams, 22-0-1, 14 big wins by KO. This is a battle of two of the hardest working men in show business, and I mean it. If you go to the gyms in Houston and watch Charlo, if you take a plane to the East Coast in West Philadelphia and see how hard Williams worked, and then randomly go see anyone else train, you'll notice a difference in the way these two guys train. They're going to be in shape. Charlo, who claims to have the best jab in the business, he's going to need it. He's going to need to keep his jab active in this fight. And his jab is solid. It's powerful. It has a lot of pop to it. Charlo's very tall, very good reach, and he has a decent footwork. Julian Williams, his jab is fast and his jab is accurate, powerful at times. Another strength of his is hand speed, and he seems to process things extremely fast. I mean, everything about him is fast. The hand speed, the way he processes things, even the way he talks. I mean, he's just fast. So, thinking on the fly just kind of appears to be one of his strengths, along with the hand speed. He also uses good feints, and I like the way he pivots when he's on the inside. Now, Jermall Charlo, we have to ask some questions about him as far as fighting on the inside. And is that something that he can do? There's some question with that. Now, as far as Williams, I think he's hittable. And sometimes he's a little susceptible, kind of leaves himself open to be hit. So some questions need to be answered there. The experience, well, on the pro level at least, the advantage has to go with Jermall Charlo. just in sparring alone, the guy spars with Landy Lara. Now, there's the possibility, I haven't confirmed this, that Williams may have sparred with Bernard Hopkins. So, if that's the case, then we won't use sparring. We'll just use live fights. And Charlo's been in there with Austin Trout. He's been in there with Cornelius K9 Bundridge. He's been in there with Antoine Smith, a guy I like, a guy who's crafty, depending on what he ate for dinner the night before, which Antoine Smith shows up. So he's been in there with some. He has the edge and experience, professional. Now, Williams, that's the one question you have to ask. I think Williams has more skill, but Charlo has more experience. So anything that crosses, let's say their jabs kind of cross each other out. You understand? So then you go to the next category. So if those two things kind of neutralize each other, then what's next? So I still think it's going to be the battle of the jabs and whose jab is money on Saturday night. However, you got experience versus skill. I have the tendency to favor skill. However, I'm looking at mental for the guy with the less experience, professionally speaking now, professional experience. This is Julian Williams' first rodeo. He's been waiting for this fight, but you just don't know how guys are going to react in their first shot. How's he going to react? We don't know. He's going to be nervous. I don't care what these guys say. He's going to be nervous for this fight. I kind of just wish it was the middle fight, like they would show. And I'm not talking about the Anthony Joshua fight that they'll do a repeat telecast of. I'm talking about have an opening fight, then have this championship fight, then have the Cuellar and Abner Mares. And I think we're going to just jump right into Charlo versus Williams. And so he's going to have to get over the nerves, the butterflies of the first time. But something interests me. And it's the battle of the trainers. Because when you're a hot commodity and everybody talks about, oh, Stephen Edwards. He's a hot trainer, but guess what? This is Edwards' first shot too. So is he going to try to overcompensate with the game plan? Is he going to be ready? Is he going to give good after that first round is over and the butterflies kind of simmer a little bit? Or let's say Charlo scores a knockdown or something. You know, how does Edwards adjust? Because we're looking at Edwards is a skill trainer, but we're looking at experience, skill versus experience also. Because not many people are talking about Ronnie Shields. Ronnie OK Shields. Ronnie aka OK Shields. And if you don't know what that means, in between rounds, whenever they go to Charlo's corner, I want you to count how many times Ronnie Shields says okay. Okay. Jermall, okay, this is what I want you to do, okay? I want you to go out and I want you to keep establishing that jab, okay? Now, listen, okay? So, I mean, Ronnie Shields' nickname should be okay. That's he says it over and over and at least 5 to 10 times between rounds when he's giving instructions. So check that out for me, okay? So, which trainer's going to come up with the game plan? Because it's also mine versus mine. This is now. Am I going to school you, young boy, or are you going to have something for me? So, it's just not the pre-fight game plan. It's the adjustments that you make. Shields, we know he can do it. He's been there. So if Stephen Edwards tells you he's not nervous, he's lying to you. He might tell you, hey, look, it's all about who's in the ring. I can't fight the fight. Trust me. This is his shot to legitimize what he's doing. And you can add his name to the list of managers or trainers for champions if his guy comes out with the victory. So I've heard all types of predictions here. Everything from Charlo by KO to Charlo by decision and a close one. I'm hearing a lot of people picking Williams by like a late stoppage. And of course Williams by decision. So I've heard it all. I think that for Jermall Charlo, he has to control the range with his jab. And anytime that Williams gets inside, if he can't grab him, what Charlo needs to do is kind of push him away or take some steps back and establish that range again. That range that he wants, which is keeping Williams on the outside. Williams, and then just get out of range, push him back, or just step out of range, reset, and then start pumping that jab again. Williams, I should say, I think he wants to get inside. He needs to get inside. While he's inside, he needs to work the body. He needs to do his pivot thing, get some shots to the head. He's excellent with his left hand on the inside. I don't know what he does, but he scores that way. So to the head mainly, and there it's almost like power shots too. It's not little just tap 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 tap. So he's good there, and I think that's not where Charlo wants to be. Excuse me. So how does this fight wind up? Well, here comes the controversy. I think this fight is going to be scored a draw if neither guy can get a series of knockdowns or a TKO. If the fight scored a draw, here's a series of things that is going to happen afterwards. If the fight scored a draw, Jermall Charlo will say, I can no longer make 154 pounds. I'm moving up to 160. And when he moves up to 60, Williams is going to fight for that vacated IBF belt that Charlo gave up to move up. He's going to fight again for the same belt months later, and against Lamont Peterson or Tony Harrison or Austin Trout or Vanes Martirosyan or Demetrius Andrade, or if he really wants the money, Amir Khan or Tony Harrison, or if they want to rush these guys, Jarrett Hurd, Erickson Lubin. Now, by IBF rules, let's just say that scenario took place. And if that scenario, that draw did take place, it'll probably be a draw according to the judges, but more than likely it'll be something like Julian Williams won 8 rounds to 4 or 7 rounds to 5. However, they call it a draw. One of those type of deals. So Charlo doesn't lose his belt in the ring, so on and so forth. If you go to IBF rules though, if that belt is vacant, then Williams would fight, unless they dropped him somehow because of the draw or something. Williams would fight Tony Harrison. If Tony Harrison declined the fight for the vacant title, which I doubt he would, but if he did, Then there's a guy named Hosokawa. If they gave Hosokawa some step aside money for reasons like it's just not in the plans, then there's a guy, Cedric Vitu. If Vitu stepped aside, the next guy would be a guy named Montano. If Montano steps aside, then the number 5 rated guy is Jared Hurd. So Harrison at the top, Hurd at the bottom of that top 5. It kind of keeps it in the Premier Boxing Champion shop, so to speak. Wouldn't surprise me. And then, however, it's a brown paper bag business, so who knows? Who knows? So, didn't pick a winner in the first fight. I could see that going either way, though I'm leaning toward Jesus Cuellar imposing his size and strength on Mares, maybe even getting a stoppage due to that eye or cuts or what have you. I'm concerned with Mares. This fight, the second fight, I can see it a draw. I can see it a fight where Williams kind of really won in most people's eyes, but the fight's given to Charlo or it's called a draw. If I'm Julian Williams, I'm stepping on the gas in the second part of the fight if it goes that long, and I'm looking for the KO or a couple of knockdowns. That's not his game, as far as he can break a guy down and get him out of there. Don't get it twisted. That's possible. However, I think that, well, you know what I said. We're going to leave it at that. And, man, did you see Charlo? Did you see Charlo's physique? Go to thefightjournal.com and scroll down, and there's a video that says, what's the title of my video? It's something about meat. Well, that's the Meat Cuellar and Abner Mares. This one was Are you ready for Williams? Are you ready for Jermall Charlo versus Julian Williams? And look at like the last 2 minutes when Charlo takes his shirt off. I mean, you talking about ripped? I mean, jeez, man. All right, well, follow us on Twitter. Definitely want you to follow us on Twitter at The Fight Journal. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be giving away money in 2017. We're going to be giving away some prizes. And follow our friends at DPG Uncut TV. Check out Strictly Boxing News. Check out Thunderdome Boxing Talk. Check out all the boxing channels. I mean, look, there's some guys that don't get along. That's fine. They don't share the same opinion. Some guys that go at each other. But outside of that, I mean, everybody's out there doing their thing, giving their opinion, putting out good videos. So give us all some support. It's absolutely free to subscribe, and also follow us on at thefightjournal.com. If you see a blue and white screen, go to the bottom. That means you're mobile mode. Go to the bottom and select view full site, and you will see to the left, to the bottom, and somewhere else, follow our website via email. If you enter your email address, all of our posts will come directly to your email. Enjoy the fights on Saturday. We got Anthony Joshua, Eric Molina on Showtime earlier. And then we have at least these two fights. I don't know if Showtime Extreme is going to show any of the undercard fights, but we got the Cuellar versus Mares main event, and the co-feature Charlo and Williams. And then on HBO, you got the heavyweight bout between Joseph Parker and Andy Ruiz, and then later that night, Terence Crawford and John Molina Jr. So big week, and not to mention other channels that you can pick up however you want to pick them up. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Josecito Lopez, whole list of guys just fighting. So check it out, and we catch you on the next one.